Hello and welcome to Workplace Math 11 Hybrid. I am Mr. Kuchma. I'm going to be your guide along this journey towards completing math. This is usually a big step for students because it is the math required to graduate, and there's a lot of people that take this course. So I'm excited to be your support and your guide along this way, and let's jump in. As you can see, I am screen recording right now to give you a little bit of a guided tour throughout the course. So at the very top, welcome. Welcome to Hybrid Math 11. Right underneath that, you're going to find my contact information. And the first thing is my email. I try to email back to students within a business day. So you should get really quick feedback whenever you have a question. I don't want to, leave you out in limbo. I want to be able to give you quick feedback. And then I also have Skype hours. I'm recording this in the summer, so these are my summer Skype hours. But I believe that my fall hours will be Mondays and Tuesdays from 9 until 11 a.m. and then Thursdays and Fridays from 3 until 5 p.m. So I'm going to have Monday, Tuesday morning hours, and then I'm going to have Thursday, Friday evening hours. My Skype hours are first come, first serve. There's no appointment. I just put you in a queue if you message me. Please try not to call me on Skype just because I might already be in a Skype call. And so then if I am in one, I might not be able to answer your call at that exact second. We also have math TAs available to help also via Skype. And that might be changing, but currently I believe there's going to be a Google calendar that you'll be able to actually access and find out if they can help you as well. Sometimes my Skype hours might not coincide with when you're available, so they have different hours that are separate from mine. And I'm going to take you further down. There is a formula sheet. I should also mention, so my Skype, I have one mandatory Skype meeting at the beginning of the year. I want to be able to meet you. If you've already taken Workplace Math 10 with me, all of this is going to be familiar, and I can just get you rocketing right away. But if you're new, if this is your first online course, I definitely want to help you out and go through that process. So when you do come and meet with me on Skype, you can bring your parents. If you've got a tutor, you can bring a tutor. Anything to make you comfortable. But it's good that whoever you're going to be working with on math is there so that I can address everything all at once. All right. So the formula sheet is the next thing on the docket, and you're going to want to print that off. You can use it for absolutely everything in the course, and there's just some handy formulas there, and it's just good to be able to reference it whenever you'd like. You can use this for all of your chapter challenges. You can use it for working through your math book. Whenever you want it, you can have it, so print that off. There are some policies and procedures that I have for the course. Please try and give those a read through before our Skype meeting if possible. This is the introductory Skype meeting. When we meet, I check it off. One of the things I'll be doing is I'll also be setting up a pacing guide for you so that I can decide, when you're starting, when you're ending, have a plan in place. And it adds a little bit of accountability to how you're going to complete the course and at what pace. One of the big things, ordering the curriculum. This course does require purchasing a book, which is right here. It's called MathWorks 11. And if you've taken my Workplace Math 10 hybrid course, you're already going to have it. So that's great. You previously completed chapters 2 and 3. In this course, in Workplace Math 11, you complete chapter 1, you complete chapter 5, you complete chapter 6, and you complete chapter 7. And I'll go through that in a second. So ordering the workbook requires you to fill out a form, and I've actually created a little handy document on how to order your curriculum. So if you click on that and you open it up, it's going to show you exactly how to get through the course and fill out the requirements. The one thing is you do need to add my email on there, so you can just copy and paste from here, and that will give me a notification that says, okay, I need to approve their curriculum order. We'll come back to that. And then I actually have gotten permission from the publishers to have the chapter 1 on the course page. So you actually can get started in the course even if you haven't gotten your book in yet. So that's actually a really, really awesome thing that they did. So you can print that off. You can get started as soon as you are in the course. And sometimes, depending on where you live, the workbook can take a little bit longer. The MathWorks 11 book does not have an answer key in the back. The MathWorks 10 did. So there was a little bit of confusion there. I've actually put the answer key right on the course page here. You can print it off and use it as you're going through. But I do want to take this time to quickly just warn you that the answer key is not 100% perfect. So there are going to be times when there's an answer in the answer key that's incorrect, and you might be wondering why that is, and you've gone over it, and maybe your tutor's gone over it, or your parents gone over it, or a friend or a family member is trying to figure out why that question's wrong. You can always send me an email. Just say, hey, this question, this page, I don't understand. Why am I not getting the right answer? I can quickly take a look over it. You may have been getting the right answer. So it's important not to get hung up on one question. If you get stuck, it's better to, just put it on hold, take a break, contact me, see if there's any reason why that should be happening. Anyway, I'm going to scroll down. I've got some help videos here for completing the course, and this is a hybrid course. It's not a purely individualized course, and the reason why it is a hybrid is because I do require you to use Moodle, and Moodle is just, as an educator, as a teacher on my end, it keeps everything in one place, and I can mark everything. My gradebook is in here. It's such a wonderful tool. So you do need to print things off and scan it in. And some students may struggle with that. So if that is the case, what you can do is you can use this wonderful website called I Love PDF, and it can do some great editing of your PDFs if that's required. But an app that I strongly recommend is called Cam Scanner, and I've actually made a video on how to use Cam Scanner. It's right here on the course page. Give it a watch. It's like 2 minutes long. There's also a how to compress your PDFs help video that I made. Give that a watch, because I've just found that sometimes when you try to submit something onto the course page, if you've taken your phone and you've scanned it, your phone takes really high resolution pictures. So it ends up becoming like this really big file, and you can't actually submit it because it's saying, oh, it's too big. So anyway, compressing your PDFs, there's a how-to video if you can't submit your work. This is a let's get started and shows you kind of how to go throughout the course. And I'm going to leave this here. You can read it through afterwards. And I'm going to show you what it looks like in a second. But you'll see that each chapter is kind of laid out here, and I'll come back to that. So let's jump into the workbook. If this is new to you, then I will definitely need to explain how it works. And if you've taken Workplace Math 10, the hybrid version that I teach, then you're going to know all about what I'm about to share. So if you scroll down, it shows you the chapters in the course. It's the first thing. And you're going to be completing chapter 1, slope and rate of change. Chapter 6, scale and representation. Chapter 5, Chapter 6, financial services, and Chapter 7, personal budgets. So then it shows you kind of how to use this book. And I've sort of developed my own procedure in correlation with another teacher. And so what I require students to do is to go through the workbook, and each unit has subunits. So in chapter 1, you're starting with slope and rate of change. There's 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. So it starts off with going through review and examples, and it'll teach you some new skills. And then there are build your skill questions. So there's going to be two distinctions here. There's going to be the build your skill questions, and then there's going to be the practice your new skill questions. And we'll talk about that. So you start off with the build your skill questions, and this is where you learn. So I do not require students to make a mark for this. This is just, hey, I'm learning this concept. I'm going to give it a try. Let's see how it goes. So you're going to be completing the build your skills, and um, you can use anything you want. You can get help from friends. You can get help from family. You can get help from tutors, EAs, whatever it might be. And then you can go to the internet. You can use YouTube. You can say, "Hey, Khan Academy, how can I do this?" Or you can come see me and you can say, "Hey, I'm struggling with this question." Technically, you can ask me any question and I'll help you. So I'm a bad example, but you can use any resource you want to help with your build your skill questions. But then at the end of the subunit, so at the end of 1.1, there are practice your new skill questions. And it sort of wraps up the chapter. And I want you to sort of think of this as the assignment. This is done a little bit differently. You can still use a calculator. You can still use, the formula sheet. But I don't want you asking friends or family or TAs or anyone like that. I don't want you going to YouTube to figure out how you've done it. I want to see roughly how you're doing with this content. Are you getting it right? Are you getting it wrong? If you're struggling, it's good for me to know so that I can just be aware. And if you've totally aced it, that's awesome. Additionally, there are chapter tests in the workbook, but I do not require you to complete these. They are not required for marks. You can complete them if you want, but that's separate. So I'm going to scroll down. This is chapter 1, slope and rate of change. As you can see what I was talking about, it'll teach some sort of concept. It'll bring something to light. It'll give you an example. And then right after that, there are build your skill questions. So these are the ones you can do with whatever support you need. And then as you scroll down, you can see there's more examples. Might show you something different. They're going to teach you a new skill, working with slope. And then there's some more build your skill questions. And as you go through, you're going to keep learning things until you get to page 17 and you come to the end with the practice your new skill questions. So this is where you're going to try your best and answer these to the best of your ability. And what I'm going to do is you're not going to need to scan in all of this to me. What I'm just going to check is it's going to be an honesty thing where I'm going to trust that you're marking it correctly. And you can look in the back, or not in the back of the book, you can look at the answer key to see how you did. And you're going to mark it. And on the course page, I'll just scroll there to show you where it is. Under the slope and rate of change, there's the slope and rate of change practice your new skill form. So that's what you're going to need to fill out. And I've already opened it here. This is what it looks like. So this is chapter 1. And there's going to be a score and an out of. So what you can do is each question is worth 1 mark. But if there's like an A, B, C, it's worth, more marks based on how many parts there are. So you can go through, if I go back here, there's question 1, there's question 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the first section is out of 9 marks. See how you did. It's good for me to sort of check in and note that. And that's what you mark here. And then once you've done 1.2, 1.3, and you've marked that out, you can give me a total. And then what you'll do is you're going to submit this. So I'll hit enable editing. Mr. Kuchma's a genius, so he gets 9 out of 9, and he gets, let's say, 8 out of 8, and he gets 7 out of 7, because he's so smart. So then you can add those up. 9 plus 8, that is 17, plus 7, that is 24, and Mr. Kuchma gets 24 to 24. Yay, I got 100%. So I'm going to just close this. I'm not going to save it. But what you'll do is then you go into the slope and the rate of change, practice a new skill hand-in box. And then this is where you're going to add a submission and you're going to send me what you got for this practice a new skill section for chapter 1. As soon as you've completed that and you've submitted it, then I know, okay, you've completed chapter 1, which means you're ready for the chapter 1 challenge. So there's a slope and rate of change chapter challenge. As you can see, it's restricted. You can't just go and start it whenever you want. What I want you to do is I want you to have handed in your practice and new skill questions. So once you've completed the first chapter, then you're ready to do the chapter 1 challenge. You print it off, and then Again, you scan it in and you scan it into this hand-in box. So each chapter will involve 2 printings, one of the practice and use skill form, although you can actually also just do that online. You don't have to print it off if you don't want to. The one thing that you definitely have to print off, though, is the chapter challenge. And then you complete it and you submit it here. How I want you to complete the chapter challenge is that, again, you can use your calculator, you can use a formula sheet, but I don't want you to be referring to the workbook or referring to notes or receiving help or using the internet as you go through that. The exception is that if you have an IEP, and if you have an IEP, you're going to know that you have an IEP. And on the chapter challenge, there's going to be a little IEP box. And I really want you to check that and just let me know what adaptations that your SE teacher has indicated. And so you should definitely talk to me about that during the during our introductory Skype meeting. That'll be really important. And yeah, but everyone else, I want you to sort of do this by yourself. And then what you're going to notice, so there's chapter 1, slope and rate of change, scale representation, that's actually chapter 5, and then there's financial services, that's chapter 6, and then there's personal budgets, that's chapter 7. And I'm still actually building the last 2 chapters, which are on statistics and probability. And if you go to the math, Workplace Math 11 curriculum for BC, there is in the content, there's financial literacy, which you cover in chapter 6 and 7, and there's interpreting graphs, which you cover in chapter 2. But there's also this one, how probability and statistics are used in different contexts. So I'm still going to be trying to figure out how to bring that into the course. It might be through a project. I'm thinking that's probably how I'll do it, because probability and statistics are pretty fun, and you can do some fun things with them. So anyway, that's something that will be coming to the course, but it's just not there yet. And then at the very end is a final challenge. So once you have completed all the different sections and you're done, you can just email me, and I will have a final challenge ready for you to attempt. And then you're done your course. So I hope this has been an informative video, sort of like a crash course in how to complete the course. If you do have questions, please come and see me on Skype, or you can always send me an email. The one thing that's really important to note is that I can't help you unless you ask for it, and I'm not going to know that you're stuck unless you tell me. So communication is going to be really important, and I hope to do my best to support you. When you complete this course, I always celebrate, because that means that you've got your math credits to graduate, and that's a really exciting thing for me. So I really hope that you guys have a great time in the school year, and I'll see you in the Skype meeting very, very soon. Take care.